Welcome back to the Deep Dive, and a huge welcome to all our C9 followers tuning in. I'm Lex.
And I'm Vera. We're from the C9 Podcast Show.
And today we have a really specific focus. We're talking directly to Australian business owners and C-level executives.
We've been digging into a crucial stack of source material, and it details exactly how the smartest companies out there are using AI-powered predictive analytics, not in the future, but right now.
Yeah, our mission today is pretty simple. We want to cut through all the hype and give you the actual blueprint. If you're running a business in Australia today, you know the pressure. Margins are getting squeezed, competition is global, and your customers, they want everything yesterday.
And the reason for that struggle, which often gets missed, is that most businesses are just swimming in data, but it's trapped.
Trapped where?
It's in legacy systems, it's in different silos, endless spreadsheets. It only tells you what happened last quarter.
Right, what your margins were. It's all backward looking. And that perspective is like a heavy anchor. Okay, so let's unpack this. We're going to show you how businesses are moving from managing history to actually forecasting the future.
The goal here is achieving at least 20% outperformance by the end of 2026. This really is the difference between just surviving and completely dominating your market.
It really is. And if you find this valuable, please take a second, hit that follow button, and share this deep dive. Someone in your network needs to hear this.
It's too important to keep quiet.
Okay, let's start with the urgency. Because this isn't a future trend. It's happening now.
What's so fascinating here is just the sheer geographic spread. We're not talking about a couple of tech firms in one city.
No.
This is happening right across Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide. It's touching everything from national retail all the way to mid-tier professional services.
And the timelines, the source material is very clear on this. The timelines are unforgiving.
Well, if you connect it to the bigger picture, you look at analysis from someone like Gartner. Their 2025-2026 outlook is incredibly blunt.
Okay.
They say organizations that master predictive analytics by the end of 2026 will outperform their peers by at least 20%.
20%. That's huge. In a market where you're fighting for every single point of margin, a 20% gap is. It's the difference between being a leader and being left behind.
And the ones who wait. The analysis says they'll spend the next 3 years just playing a very expensive game of catch-up.
Burning cash just to get back to where everyone else was 2 years ago.
It's an expensive delay.
So let's get specific. Where are these Aussie companies seeing real, measurable results today?
The list is powerful because the numbers are real. We're seeing companies get to 95% or even higher accuracy in their demand forecasting.
Okay, just think about what that does for a supply chain.
It almost eliminates guesswork.
You're moving way beyond simple historical averages. You're pulling in dozens of variables, right? Like holiday spikes, competitor moves even.
What? Local weather?
All of it. And we're also seeing an 8 to 22% revenue uplift from dynamic pricing engines.
What does that mean exactly?
It means these engines are constantly adjusting prices based on inventory, time of day, competitor pricing. They optimize every single transaction in real time.
That is a massive lever to pull, especially for retail or e-commerce.
And beyond just revenue, you've got efficiency. Churn reduction is hitting 40 to 60%. By predicting which customers are about to leave and figuring out the exact thing you need to do to keep them. And that flows on, right? It leads to lower inventory costs, sometimes a 30% reduction. You stop storing stuff you know you won't sell.
And we can't forget the finance and insurance sectors.
Oh, absolutely. Predictive fraud detection is saving them millions every year. It looks at behavioral patterns, not just transaction rules, so it catches things a human analyst would just never see. So the conversation has moved on. It's not, is AI useful anymore?
No, not at all. It's now, how quickly can we implement this safely?
And this is where it gets really interesting. Let's dig into the actual replicable Australian examples from the source material. They show the mechanics, not just the final number.
Idea.
So take the national retailer they mentioned. Classic Aussie supply chain problem, right? Long lead times, huge inventory costs, and stockouts that frustrate customers.
So what did they do?
They deployed predictive replenishment models.
And the result was not some small tweak. It was a 68% reduction in stockouts.
68%.
So you have happier customers, fewer lost sales, and at the same time, they cut excess inventory by $11 million.
And that $11 million isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. That's cash that was tied up on dusty warehouse shelves. Now it's free.
Free to invest or to distribute. It shows the dual power here, you know? Better service, less waste.
We also see gains in uh, less obvious places, professional services. There was a mid-tier firm in Melbourne that lifted its proposal win rate by 19%.
And not through more aggressive selling, I take it.
Not at all. It was just by using a predictive AI model to score every single lead that came in the door.
So instead of the sales team chasing everything.
Exactly. The AI was telling them focus on these 5 leads. It knew which ones had the highest chance of converting, sometimes before a human had even finished reading the email.
That's just pure governance of your human capital. You're pointing your most expensive, talented people at the highest value work.
It replaces gut feel with objective data.
Mm.
And then there's manufacturing. Think about safety, compliance. A Queensland manufacturer avoided $1.2 million in penalties.
And that wasn't just luck.
No. Their predictive maintenance system was running on sensor data. It flagged that specific parts were going to fail weeks in advance.
So they could schedule the downtime, replace the part, instead of having a catastrophic, non-compliant failure.
It completely changes maintenance from a reactive cost to a strategic tool for managing risk.
Which brings up a really important question. If the results are this good, why isn't every single business doing it?
Right.
And the source material is very clear. These wins didn't come from downloading an app or just, buying a Power BI license.
You're saying the foundation is what matters more than the flashy tool on top?
Absolutely. You need properly engineered data pipelines, you need governed models, you need seamless integration. That's the heavy lifting that separates an $11 million saving from a $15,000 failure.
And that foundation leads us straight into the danger zone, the pitfalls. Because as soon as a tech proves it can make millions, the shortcuts start popping up.
They do. And we really have to warn you about what the source material calls the AI Cowboy trap.
The AI Cowboy.
Yeah. It's the vendor promising a fast, cheap fix, an AI app in 14 days for 15 grand, often built on no-code platforms with prompt engineering.
The source actually calls this vibes coding, which I love. Can you break that down?
Vibes coding means it works right now on the exact data it was trained on, but it has zero robust infrastructure to handle the real world.
So it looks great in the demo.
Perfect in the demo. But what happens 6 months later when you deploy it in a real dynamic business environment?
What does happen?
The first thing is model drift. The model starts to hallucinate its forecasts. Its accuracy just collapses because the world changes, the data inputs change, and it has no governance to adapt.
Becomes a very expensive random number generator.
Pretty much. And then you're stuck with platform limits.
Right.
You hit the ceiling of that cheap no-code platform, and because the architecture was wrong from the start, you have to scrap the whole thing and rebuild. Double the cost, massive time lost.
But beyond the cost, for Australian businesses, the biggest risk has to be compliance, surely.
Oh, it's a huge area of concern. These shortcut solutions, they come with zero documentation, zero data lineage.
Meaning you can't prove where the data came from.
Or how it was processed, or why the model made a certain decision. And that creates massive headaches with regulators like APRA or under the Privacy Act. If you can't prove data integrity, you're exposed.
And the most frustrating part, the vendor is gone.
Vanishes. And you're left with a black box you don't own and can't maintain. The right approach, the one that generates that ROI, is the complete opposite. It's full ownership, clean code, knowledge transfer, and Australian-based accountability.
Which brings us to the reality of it all.
Yeah.
If you need that rigorous approach, how do successful companies actually resource it without breaking the bank?
This is where we have to look at the different implementation models. The standard agency model, it's often pure offshore teams, which means communication lag.
Zone issues.
Or it's pure local teams with rates that are just not sustainable for a long project. And they'll often just throw one generalist developer at the problem.
And the source material points to a totally different model as the benchmark, right?
Right. It does. It's the blended hybrid team. This model pairs onshore architects and project managers who get the local business and regulatory context with proven offshore teams for execution.
But the key isn't just the geography, it's the structure.
It's the structure, the integrated squad model.
Okay.
So instead of one developer, you deploy a full squad, a PM, a business analyst, a data engineer for the pipelines, an ML engineer for the model, DevOps, QA. That specialist unit just ensures speed and reliability from day one.
That sounds solid, but businesses here need flexibility. The economy shifts. How does that model handle resource planning?
That's where the staff augmentation approach is tailored for it. It lets you scale your team up or down with just 30 to 60 days notice. You're not locked into a rigid annual contract.
And things like unused hours rolling over means you're not paying for dead time.
Exactly. You only pay for work delivered.
So why does the source advocate for a, say, 3 to 6 month commitment over just a simple monthly rolling contract?
Because monthly contracts create constant churn, knowledge erosion. Every time an engineer leaves, you're burning time and money getting the next one up to speed.
So a modest commitment ensures continuity. The team actually learns your business.
They gain deep institutional expertise, and that translates directly into better models and faster results. The commitment is an investment in keeping that knowledge in-house.
And that structure is reflected in the pricing. The successful firms are transparent.
Absolutely. It's not about revealing every single hourly rate, but showing a tiered structure. It proves the approach is predictable, and you're getting value at every level, from data foundations up to senior architecture.
That transparency is what stops you from making the biggest mistake of all, basing a multi-million-dollar decision on a vague guess.
We see it all the time. A company gets a proposal and the cost has this massive swing. It'll be somewhere between $180,000 and $350,000.
That's a $170,000 gap.
Yeah.
You can't plan capital expenditure with that kind of uncertainty.
Impossible. And that's why that focused, zero sales pressure discovery call is the most critical first step. It's only 45 to 60 minutes. It's not a sales pitch. It's an architecture session.
So what does an executive actually get from that hour? What certainty do they walk away with?
They get total certainty. They get a stakeholder map, an audit of their technical debt, a full compliance checklist,
And the big one.
a phased roadmap with clear ROI milestones, and an accurate fixed budget to the nearest week, not the nearest quarter.
Let's talk about the financial strategy behind that. The source had a brilliant example of how this de-risks the whole investment.
The best approach is designed to be self-funding. You don't ask for a huge check up front. For example, phase 1 might focus on the data foundation and a churn proof of value. It has a fixed cost.
And that first phase is engineered to deliver a fast, measurable win.
Yes. That initial phase has to generate enough annualized savings by, say, month 5 to completely fund the next phase.
So if phase 1 delivers $520,000 in annualized savings,
that ROI pays for phase 2.
which is the bigger implementation, the
Yeah.
full demand forecasting and pricing engines.
Exactly. And that phase can then aim for an additional $2.1 million in revenue uplift, all funded by the proven value of what you've already done. You never spend big without seeing a return first.
It shifts data from being a cost center to a proven profit engine.
That's the whole point.
So, wrapping this all up, what does it all mean? The source material we've unpacked it's unequivocal. 2026 is the year Australian businesses either lead with prediction or bleed margins through reaction. You have to stop seeing data infrastructure as just an IT cost. You have to start treating it as the core profit engine of your entire business.
And this raises, I think, a really important question for anyone listening. If you know the technology is ready, the implementation model is de-risked, and the talent is available right now, what is the real cost of waiting just 60 more days? The risk isn't about the tech anymore. It's purely strategic.
That's the challenge. The most expensive 45 minutes you'll never spend is skipping that initial discovery call. If you're serious about this, if you want to map your opportunity and get those wins with total certainty, that's your next step.
Book a discovery call with C9 today. C9 is Australia's leading custom software, apps integration, and database developer company. We are your partner for custom predictive analytics that actually make you money.
To lock in your spot and get that ROI-driven roadmap, just visit us at www.c9.com.au.
Thank you for joining us for the deep dive.
We'll see you next time.